clear. But yeah, there we go. The iPhone 6 comes with a 1400:1 contrast ratio, whereas the iPhone 6 Plus comes with a 1300:1 contrast ratio. By the way, the iPhone 5S came with a 800:1 contrast ratio, so huge improvement in both models, basically. So far we have three main differences between those two phones. We have the display size, we have the resolution, and then we have the contrast ratio, which, again, all of those things are different between the iPhone 6 Plus and the iPhone 6. But we have two more differences in terms of design. So the first one is that the iPhone 6 is actually thinner than the iPhone 6 Plus. So the iPhone 6 comes at 6.9mm thick, which is really thin, compared to the 7.6mm thickness of the iPhone 5S or the 9mm of the iPhone 5C. And the iPhone 6 Plus comes with a thickness of 7.1mm. So yeah, it's a bit thicker than the iPhone 6, but it's still thinner than the iPhone 5S, not to mention the iPhone 5C, obviously. Now, the bad news, however, is that both the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are a bit heavier than the iPhone 5S, the previous model. So the iPhone 6 comes in at 129 grams, or 4.55 ounces, whereas the iPhone 6 Plus comes in at 172 grams, or 6.07 ounces, compared to the 112 grams, or 3.95 ounces, that the iPhone 5S came with. So in terms of the display and the design, these are basically all the differences, so 5 differences so far. But we have a couple of more differences between those two, and there's actually a pretty big one, and that is the camera. Now, the iPhone 5S had an amazing camera. The iPhone 5S actually had the second best camera in the world, basically after the Nokia Lumia 1020. The iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus, they both have a really improved camera over the iPhone 5S, which means that they both should take amazing shots. Now, the iPhone 6 Plus has one extra feature over the iPhone 6, and that is the optical image stabilization. So what this means is that the camera on the iPhone 6 Plus uses the gyroscope to stabilize the lens. Basically, when you have shaky hands or you have Parkinson or something, the shots will look crystal clear. But that's not the only advantage of having optical image stabilization. The true advantage is low light photography. So since you have optical image stabilization, the shakiness of the image will be greatly reduced, which means that you can basically decrease the aperture speed without having any annoying blur in your shots, which means that, yeah, the low light photos will look insane. Just take a look at this shot. This one was taken with the iPhone 6 Plus, and as you can see, it looks as if it was taken with a DSLR camera, which is quite impressive. So no, unfortunately the iPhone 6 does not come with this feature. It doesn't. So yeah, this is another feature that the iPhone 6 lacks compared to the iPhone 6 Plus. Finally, since it's a larger phone, you also get a bigger battery, which means that your iPhone 6 Plus will last actually a lot longer than the iPhone 6. So for example, in terms of audio playback with the iPhone 5S, you could get up to 40 hours of audio playback. With the iPhone 6, you can now get up to 50 hours, so an extra 10-hour bonus. But with the iPhone 6 Plus, you can get up to 80 hours of audio playback, which is twice as much as what you could get with the iPhone 5S. Same for the standby time. With the iPhone 5S, you could get up to 10 days, same 10 days with the iPhone 6, but 16 days with the iPhone 6 Plus. So yeah, with the iPhone 6 Plus, you would get a way better battery than what you would get with the iPhone 6. But still, I don't believe it's gonna be anywhere near the battery life of the OnePlus One. And speaking of the OnePlus One, I actually did a really detailed video on that. That's basically the best Android phone that money can buy at the moment. It's really cheap, and it has some insane specs. And there you go, here's the link in case you haven't seen that video. And speaking of the battery life of that thing, I managed to get more than 2 days of intensive usage. So yeah, in case you haven't seen that review, here's the link. And now the final difference between the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus, well, yeah, is the price. So both the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, they both come in 16, 64, and 128GB capacities, but the iPhone 6 Plus is $100 or 80 pounds more expensive than the iPhone 6. This means that with the price of a 64GB iPhone 6, you can only get a 16GB iPhone 6 Plus. And just a quick note, the iPhone 6 Plus is actually the most expensive smartphone in the world as of today. That's obviously if we exclude Virtu or Golden phones or anything like that. So yeah, the iPhone 6 Plus is the most expensive, popular flagship phone as of today. So there you go, these are the 8 main differences between the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. But in the end, which one should you get? Because now I think you are all really confused. Well, the answer is simple. Just ignore the optical image stabilization, ignore the contrast, even ignore the resolution of the display. Just
so much stuff on there. It's insane. So what we can do now is actually swipe across. There we go, see flag, trash, or more. You can have flag emails, which is very cool. So it's very quick little tap, flag that email. I don't like that email anymore. Please don't send me those emails from that person. Blah, blah, blah. And it's a pretty good little feature. I like it. So what you can do is tap the home button twice, like that, and you can jump into this view. So now you got all your contacts up there. So this is all recent contacts. Contacts I've either text or phone called. So you can either, you can tap on
Lucy, which is my sister, and you can literally call her mobile or can text her. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool little feature, Definitely a core addition, makes the process a little bit quicker. Also, some of you might have noticed this health app. Am I pointing it? Now I'm pointing at it. You can click on that. There's like a health app which will now actually be able to enable you to actually link other health apps into the iPhone. You can sort of have like a whole hub of health stuff. So you can track your fitness, how much you're moving, your weight and stuff. And that's definitely a cool little feature. It feels like Apple are going more towards the health aspect with the iWatch and also this iPhone. And I like that. I want to start getting a little bit more healthier. And if it's with me all the time, that's very useful. What you can see now is the camera. You can see me in the camera. That's weird, isn't it? You can see me twice. But yeah, so you've got the camera. The camera is very impressive. It looks absolutely amazing. It's still only 8 megapixels, which is slightly disappointing. I would like to see perhaps 10 or 12, because it's very much behind the Android. I mean, the lenses in this phone are a lot better, and the quality is so much more crisp, and it looks so much more sharper. Also, you've got 240 frames per second. No, is it 240 frames per second filming at 720p, so you can have loads of slow-mo and stuff. You've got 60 frames a second, full HD, I think. I'm not sure on that. So let's talk a little bit more about this phone. So this phone has 20% more power than the 5S. So for me, it's just a massive difference because I used to have the iPhone 4. So, oh my God, it's so much quicker. It's also got 50% more GPU, so it's got more graphics power, so play like your games on and stuff, which is also pretty awesome. But yeah, it just feels more of like a step forward. So if you want a bigger screen, this upgrade will be perfect for you. But I think otherwise, stick with the 5S or even the 5. It's not
USB cable that we have here next inside of the box, so you can plug one end into your phone, one end into the power brick, and then plug it into the wall to charge up the device. And finally, we have Apple's EarPods, which come along with pretty much every newer iOS device that you can purchase at the moment. Powering up the device for the first time, we get a look at the 4.7-inch display with a resolution of 750 by 1334, and on the backside we have our 8-megapixel camera, our True Tone LED flash. We also have a small microphone, the lock button, and the SIM card tray, and on the other side we have our mute switch and volume buttons. Now moving around to the bottom side, we have the speaker grill, the microphone, the lightning port, and our 3.5mm headphone jack. Now one thing that kind of bothers me about the iPhone 6 is the protruding camera. Don't get me wrong, the build quality is excellent here, but I wasn't a fan of the camera sticking out on the 5th generation iPod Touch, and having it on an iPhone is not going to change my mind. I'm still growing on the design of the iPhone 6 with those antenna bands on the back, but overall it's made out of great materials, and we do have cool features like reachability, which will allow you to double tap on the home button to reach icons at the top without awkwardly stretching your finger or using your other hand. So overall, I'm kind of letting the design grow on me. I was a big fan of the design with the iPhone 5 and 5S, and obviously the iPhone 6 is very different, but I want to know what you think about the iPhone 6 design, and leave